Fallen Soldiers merch is available right now. How can you claim yours? Click the top line of the description box to go get yours right now. Hip Hop Uncensored has teamed up with the Print Champs. I want everybody on the sound of my voice to go get your Fallen Soldiers tee commemorating artists that passed away way too early. The link is at the top line of the description. Let's get it.
And black people bring their paychecks to bet on dogs that are not even there and horses. Why can't we come together and do a simulcast?
Facts.
Agreed. I want to go here with it, because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I looked your name up on YouTube just to see who's ever interviewed you, and a lot of the stuff, coincidentally enough, is us, right? Tariq
Right.
Nasheed, Very Dangerous, Ms. Dillard. Salute to everyone who has, but I don't see the Breakfast Clubs. I don't see the Hot 97s. I don't see the Gillian Wallows. I don't see the.
Let me tell you why, man.
Yes, sir.
I would talk to Charlamagne all the time. Mr. Cosby would get on the phone and talk to Charlamagne. Charlamagne would never have me on.
Interesting.
Never have me on. Wallow and Gilly are not going to have me on because I mess up their sponsors.
Yeah.
Up, seem to lose him.
That's beneficial to Wallow and Gilly.
Right.
You know, they just got $100 million deal from Amsterdam Vodka.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're gonna have Andrew talking on about Bill Cosby? See, they use these people as front people. They give them a little change, but see what we would never know is the stipulations in the contract.
Yeah.
We don't know that. None of these people, talking to these people like Charlamagne who are text and be on the phone. Man, I'm not gonna, brother. I can't. Brother. I can't have you on.
Damn.
Ignore every text message, man. I have them right here in my phone from Charlamagne. I can pull them up. All my text messages from Charlamagne. Mr. Cosby get on the phone and talk with him and say, "Hey, man, I heard you was trying to support me. You saw my daughter on the plane. I think they was on a JetBlue flight or something." Or a Spirit flight, Aaron Cosby. And Charlamagne came up to her and he was like, "Hey man, I just hope, you all I want you to do is just talk about the facts and the truth. No special favors. No special favors, man." And I'm telling you, all of these people, man, they are not who they claim to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell everybody, man, y'all people be falling for this okie doke and drinking the Kool-Aid because they see these guys sitting on a private jet. Wallow and Gilly, man, Wallow was in the same prison that Mr. Cosby was in.
Wow.
Same prison. He was in that same prison. Now, inmates call me from that prison who I have gotten attorneys to handle their cases pro bono. One guy in there now, Anthony Sutton, Benny Doo, he started the Man Up program. Wallow promised that when he got out, he was going to bring attention to them and their advocacy. Bill Cosby was in there and took the Man Up program. They have a band. He redirected their music, structured their music, and scripted a show. So when political figures came in, they would be not just entertained, but educated. And Mr. Cosby was the last act to come up and talk about men being men and going back into the community. Benny called me, Anthony Sutton. When Mr. Cosby got out, he said, "Man, Anthony says he's innocent. He didn't murder the guy. He was part of Junior Black Mafia." And he said, "Andrew, look into it." I looked into it. I called my attorney, Jimmy Beans, who represents Shun Shadi, Mike Tyson's father-in-law, who was in that same prison as well. I told him the story about Benny. He said, "Andrew, do you believe in him?" I said, "Man, it's something about this guy. He's been in there. His son has been in there for 12 years. He's been in there for 38 years."
Damn.
And I said to Jimmy Benz, who was in 3 of the Rocky movies, and he's the one that commissioned and got the Rocky statue uh, in downtown Philadelphia.
Mhm.
I said, Jimmy, I said, man, he said, man, look, he's also assistant police chief at Upper Darby. He's an
Oh,
attorney.
okay.
And he said, powerful got connected. His son was one of the biggest boxing promoters in Vegas, and he committed suicide maybe 6 years ago.
Mm.
And Jimmy got me several attorneys, man. And right now, they have found the witness out of New York who was coerced by the district attorney who's now deceased to say that Benny did the murder. They called me and they said, Mr. Andrew, all the inmates get on the phone. They call me weekly. Still take their calls today. And they said, Wallow won't even return our calls.
Mm.
They're like, Wallow to win Hollywood on us. Everything Wallow promised us. I said, man, hold up. I said, he's all on Instagram giving these speeches and stuff. It's like, Mr. Andrew, he won't even return our call, man.
Wow.
We reach out to him, and this is no dig, but
Right.
we at the end of the day, man, okay. I grew up in the projects in
Mhm.
Bessemer, Alabama, man. 2613 Clarendon Avenue. All right, they consider Bessemer, that's where Gucci Mane grew up.
Mhm.
They consider that the Compton of Alabama. Okay, at the end of the day, man, I came out the projects, but I go back to the projects. Now, I ain't afraid of my own people. And everything that I do, I want to uplift my people. I don't know these inmates. I didn't do the time with them.
Right.
But Wallow did the time.
Right.
Okay, where are you now telling Bill Cosby stories? But you can't. You know why you can't? Because see, you're getting booked on events by Live Nation, AEG Live now. If you know you're hosting stuff now, you became Hollywood.
Mhm.
But they're never gonna have me on, man, because it's you said, well, $1 million worth of game. Well, $1 million worth of game, you wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's deep.
Charlamagne, you wouldn't be where you at today if a Bill Cosby didn't pave a way.
Right.
It's the same way
Yep.
Dr. J and all those guys from back in the day paved the way for LeBron them to be playing ball and Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
can't forget about the history, man.
That's a fact.
In order to move forward with anything in life, you got to know the history of the game.
Yep.
And so, if I'm Wallow and Gilly, and if I'm Charlamagne and all these other entities out here, Dr. Umar Johnson, all of y'all cats out here, why aren't y'all bringing me on to talk about these allegations? You know why? Because you're now mainstream
Mm.
and you want to be popular. You want access to courtside seats.
Mm.
You want to be on the football field. But let me tell you, man, as fast as you got that, they
Mhm.
can take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You ain't got staying power. And what I mean when you ain't got staying power, you don't have old money. You got new money.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we know about new money, the value of it ain't the same as old money.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
So and that's $1 million worth of game right there.
Yes, sir. For
Absolutely.
sure. So moving forward, I know you guys are going to prepare for this trial. What's next?
Well,
Okay.
Discovery, man. Discovery.
Right.
I talked to Mrs. Cosby today,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to Mr. Cosby because of what 50 said. He
Yeah.
came out, if you saw,
Seen that. Yeah.
and supported. And I said to Mr. Cosby, I said, man, hey, the only way I feel in my mind is going to go away if you fight back. And I said, fighting back, man. I'm asking you. I said, man, I love doing what I do, but the only way I'm going to preserve a legacy for my grandsons is I preserve your legacy.
Right.
And I said, and the only way I'm going to preserve a legacy for every black young boy and girl in America if I preserve your legacy, because this is way bigger than you. And I want you to come out and start calling in on some of these shows, man. Gradually get out here. These guys are not going to put you in jeopardy, and they're not going to put you in a bad situation to bring up anything about the women. We know you can't talk about that right now, but they could talk about history.
Yeah.
They could have you on and talk about history. So I said, man, I think it's just time. We got all of these promoters wanting you to tour. And he said to me, he said, well, Andrew, here's my concern. He said, man, I'm blind. And if I come out there and somebody starts shooting and they raid the arena to murder me, because you don't know who's going to pay them to assassinate me. He said, I'm not fearful about my talent because I'm funny. He said, I get on the stage, and he said, ain't no comedian out here can be funnier than me.
Mm.
He said, because I tell real jokes. He
Yeah.
said, I'm a real comedian. He said, I don't joke with people in the audience and make fun of people in the audience. I sit on that stage and I make people laugh because I'm naturally funny.
Mm-hmm.
He said, so I'm not afraid of being funny. I fear for my life. He said, I just know they'll let somebody slip a gun inside just to shoot Bill Cosby.
Wow.
He said, because somebody would be a martyr to go down in history that I took Bill Cosby's life. And I said to him, I said, Mr. Cosby, your last show I did in Cobb Energy Center in Georgia, they had put threats out that they were going to disrupt the show. They were going to do something. Man, I had a whole security team checking people IDs, checking people with wands, scanning people. They had to go through 3 security checkpoints.
There you go.
And when people walked into the arena, it was sold out. When they walked into that 3,000 seat facility, man, the Cobb Energy Center, I'm telling you, if you left the facility and we had somebody to watch you go just to the bathroom, if you left the facility, man, you were not allowed back in.
Good move. Yeah.
So backstage, nobody came through. The sound crew, man, props, everything was sound equipment. We scanned everything in sound equipment. We looked in the speakers to see if you had a gun in the speakers. So at the end of the day, I told him, I said, man, you owe it not just to your family and yourself, but you owe it to America, man, for them to see real comedy and hear real comedy before it's all over. And that's what Mrs. Cosby, she agreed with me today. So, that's some of the things that we're working on, man.
Okay.
That's what we're working on. And, man, I don't, he's blind, and if he ever agrees to it, you would have to record something with him because they've never owned a computer or a cell phone, or they have no internet at the house. They have rotary dial phones still,
Wow.
believe it or not. And so they all business with them is done through fax machine, like a fax machine where you put the roller in it. It's everything at all their homes. Look, man, she just got him direct TV. So 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 it's those type of things, man. But I would love for him to, call in on one of these shows, man, and talk to you guys, man, and just get him back out here because that's the goal right now. My whole thing is the gloves are off, man.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
well, I mean, the gloves are off. Everything about these women, I'm going to put it out here. Their background, who they are, what they're
Absolutely.
doing, how many people they slept with, every star. I'm putting it all out here, man. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not me being unprofessional. It's me just stating the truth and the facts.
Absolutely.
That's what we pride ourselves here on this platform about doing. We started this podcast, and right around there is about the time the allegations started coming out on Dr. Cosby. And as much as we love Dr. Cosby, as much as we've watched his shows with our grandparents and our family, as much as we admired and admired him, we had to pride ourselves on calling it right down the middle, making sure that we gave the true facts about not only what we were hearing, about what we were seeing. And unfortunately,
Right.
mainstream only gives you one side. Only gives
That's
you one
it.
side. So when we come on here, we're not trying to disrespect anybody that was victimized ever in any situation. We just want the truth and the other side to be able to have an opportunity to explain themselves. We always have, we always will. That's
Right.
why we appreciate you. Real quick, just to kind of jump off topic, I want to talk about Jonathan Majors real quick and currently what he's going through. I know you may not know that situation.
Now,
He's not in it.
I'm very familiar with it. Hey
Mhm.
man, when you think it's not going to happen to you, and you remain on the sidelines and become silent, it happens to you.
Mm.
And a lot of people remain on the sidelines. And I was saying it back in 2017, man. I've been very vocal on saying, look, if you guys allow this to happen to Bill Cosby, now he was a litmus test. And now Jonathan Majors, everybody's dropping you. Everybody's walking away. You've been vilified. And at his age, he hasn't accumulated anything.
Yeah,
Right.
So, what's the chances and likelihood of us ever seeing a Jonathan Majors project ever again?
yeah,
Probably not,
Wow.
because whomever you pissed off. One of the most dangerous words for Black people is no. In slavery, every time the slave said no, he got lynched or burned.
Hmm.
Whenever we say no to something we don't agree with what they're doing, they take whatever our livelihood is at that time away. However, if you say no when you see it happening to someone else, then it might not ever get to you. And when you sit on the sidelines and you don't say, hey, I see what they're doing to this guy on here, let's speak out. Will America ever let LeBron James in his old age leave this earth as King James?
mm,
I don't know. Will they ever let Obama leave this earth as the first president of the United States to be unscathed and leave the White House unscathed? It never happened. He's the first to ever do that. Will they let Michael Jordan leave this earth as Your Highness and heir? Probably not, because they said we're not going to let Bill Cosby leave as America's dad.
mm,
They create these brands and they put the halo over our head. But then when their children is no different than when you see the melting pot of kids at the playground and their little legs are running around, man, and they're just having fun. But when they get to the age of 10, 11, and 12, and they start liking each other, and they say, that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend, check yes, check no on the box, then you see the separation. Then y'all can't play together anymore
mm.
because we don't want the melting pot to mix. And that's what these halos that they put over our iconic figures' head, whether it's in sports, politics, entertainment, television, film. Uh, the halo, they realize like, okay, now I spent $1 billion to put it on their head. Now I'm going to spend $1 trillion to tear it down and still make money.
Wow. I was actually telling him, I was like, you know what, man, Jay-Z, he seemed like he's been unscathed. Like at some point in time, I feel like they're gonna try to take him down, man. But what he was able to accomplish, how do you feel about him as well, Jay-Z?
Well, Jay Z is an iconic figure, and
Right.
right now, when you start owning them, you going out buying 200 and some $1 million mansions for your wife.
Yeah.
How do we let him slip through the cracks?
Mm.
You will see the federal government won't become his friend. They're his friend now because you were close to the president of the United States,
Mhm.
and then you decided to become friends with the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell when you shouldn't have because of how they was treating Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
So when they see you cave to them and you give in and you denounce maybe one of your own, you can never say no to them. So it's the minute that Jay Z says no, as long as Jay Z if he continues to say yes, but the minute he say no to something that they really want, right now you own too much. You're touting yourself as a billionaire. You and your wife combined is a billionaire.
Mhm.
Okay, but at the end of the day, when we want to teach you a lesson, we strip you of your shows because you can't tour yourself. Look at Kanye.
Yeah.
Oh, Kanye, you're a billionaire, but we strip you of everything, and we have the ability. Adidas had the ability to go into your bank account and take $78 million.
Crazy.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about it. This is your personal bank account now. There's a such thing as called hacking somebody's account.
Right.
Yeah.
People go to jail because it's a federal offense. So you mean to tell me Adidas, who performed a federal offense, they get away with it? It's because all of these guys, man, they will build you up and build you up. But it's as Mr. Cosby, he told me this, and I never forget it. He's like, Andrew, you want wealth. You don't want to be rich. He said, because Jenny Buss is wealthy. She feeds the team. She flies the team out. When they need new clothing, she clothes the team. Those are her babies.
Mhm.
However, every player on that team is rich because they could tout LeBron as the billionaire, but can he own the team?
Mm.
Can he fly the team from city to city to play a game and not run out of money?
Right.
It's a
The
big
answer,
difference.
Yeah, yes,
the
sir.
answer is no. You
No,
can't.
Yeah.
no, you can't do it. Michael Jordan is doing it,
Right.
but so are you? See, and what we have to always understand, most of these people are asset rich and cash poor.
Mm.
See, they got the assets, but a lot of them, if you said to them right now, hey, go get me $200 billion or go get me $1 billion right now, can they touch $1 billion at that point in time? They might have to say, nah, I got to liquidate some stuff
Right. Right.
to get to that billion. And what they have done is like what they did with Mr. Cosby. They try to devalue you so much. You want to sell something, they have you locked up and tied up to where nobody will buy what you're selling.
Mm.
It's a system, man. They have it so. I remember Mr. Cosby and Mrs. Cosby. They, with all the wealth that they have, at their old age, they started saying, "Well, we're going to live on a fixed income." Now, their fixed income is not our fixed income. So,
Right.
but but he has 400 cars. Mr. Harris would give him a special made Lamborghini wherever he would perform at Harris,
Mm.
or a special made Rolls Royce, or whatever color he want. He was driving a Porsche with a Ferrari engine in it or something like that. And then he had the first Shelby that Shelby gave him. He had the very first one.
Wow.
Uh, and so had all these smooth, beautiful cars, man. But whenever they might want to do something or buy a piece of artwork, they just sell a car.
Mm.
So you can sell some assets to get some things that you want. But in this world of scandals and allegations, man, they control the banks. We saw it with Kanye. They control everything.
Mhm.
And so what we have to do is start taking our platforms like these. And I saw it happen, man. I made millions and millions of dollars for ABC and Fox. Millions selling their shows.
Mm.
Millions. And to a point I said, well, why am I doing it for them? Let me just create the firm and the agency, and then I represent the person who wanted to buy the commercial time, and they got to pay me. The TV station got to pay me 7.5% of what I spend with them.
Mm.
There you go.
So that's the game, how it works. We could all do it, but unless you show someone shows you how to educates you on how to play the game, and that's the problem I have with what we're seeing today with Mr. Cosby. And I want to quote on what something you said, Sam. Yes, because you know there are women in my family. Bad things have happened to some women out here.
Yes.
We're not out here saying that women haven't faced some horrible things in their life. But uh, I know a victim. I have female friends who have been victim of rape and abuse and everything. But at the end of the day, man, I tell people, take the time to read, man, this stuff and read what these women are saying and listen carefully. These are not victims, man. These are just women who want to victimize greed.
Good to go, man.
We definitely
Great.
appreciate
Hey,
it.
man, thank you for everything, man. Y'all have a beautiful weekend, man. Thanks for having me on.
Nah,
Love it.
always. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you always picking up the phone, and the platform is
sir.
always open to you. Andrew Wyatt on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, my brothers. Y'all have
All
a good
right.
one.